Hi and welcome to this lesson. If you don't want to use VirtualBox or your machine doesn't have the capacity to use it, EC2 is a brilliant alternative, but bear in mind it can incur some cost. So what you will need is an AWS account. One important thing to note before we start is to select your region. By default, it may pick somewhere in the US. Because I'm based in London, I'm going to use London, which is EU West 2. Best practice is to pick the region closest to you, that way it's cheaper to run. With that, let's get started. I've already signed in, and then from the console, I want to go to EC2. Click on Launch Instance. Then we're going to have a look up here for the AMI. Hit Enter, and we want to use the latest version here. So Ubuntu Server 18.04 LTS. Click Select. We want to use t2.micro. We only want one. Next, we want to click Add Storage. You can configure this to the size you want, but we'll leave it as standard. 8 gigs is more than enough. We're not interested in any tags, and we are going to need to SSH in. And for security reasons, set that to my IP. I'm going to give a security group a name, so I'm going to call it MySG. Take out the description, and I'm going to add a couple of rules. It's going to add HTTP, and I'm also going to add HTTPS. I'll add a quick description, so we'll call it MySG, and we'll click on Review and Launch. Now it's going to ask us about a key pair. Now I already have some keys set up. In this case, I want to create a new key pair if you haven't done this before. I'm going to pick a name, so I'm going to call this Linux EC2 key pair. Go ahead and download them, and you will want to keep these safe, and then click on Launch Instance. And while that starts up, we can go ahead and set up our key ready for use. So in our downloads folder, we've got our key. It's in a .pem format. Now I have a separate folder where I like to keep my key, so I'm going to move it over to there. And again, you want to store these somewhere safe. If you're doing this on Windows, you're going to need to use a tool called Putty, and I'll include a link after this lesson on where to download it and how to set it up using your SSH key. If you're doing this on Mac, this is going to be the process that you're going to need to follow, whereas on Windows, you're going to need to use Putty. So on Mac, let's cd into keys folder, and we can see I have this Linux EC2 key pair. So the first thing we need to do is chmod 400 Linux EC2 key pair, and then we're going to SSH to our instance. So we go back to AWS. What you want is the public DNS. The command we want to run is ssh ubuntu at public DNS name, and what we need to pass in is the key. So we use -i and then the name of our key. Hit enter. Type in yes, and if you've succeeded, you'll see this ubuntu at and then the host name, and there we go, we've logged in. So this is how you can use an EC2 instance. If you're worried about cost, what you can do is follow along, and then once you're done, type exit, come up here, make sure it's selected, instance state, and terminate. Now this will take a couple of minutes to terminate, and what you can do is follow the same process again, launch the instance and select your key pair, and all you'll have to do is add the new public DNS name. That wraps up that lesson. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.